Right, welcome to the second half of the course. And today I'm showing XML files. I hope this was a clear exercise for you. I just show you how you can basically how you can write into XML files. So if you have any questions, I can listen to you right now to get your questions. My Zoom group chat is open, so you can basically ask questions through Zoom group chat, or you can talk whenever you raise your hand. You will see on Zoom that there's the two functionalities which allows you to raise your hand. Should you raise your hand not on the camera but on the Zoom tool, I can see it on my participant list and I can give you a right to talk, okay? Alternatively, you can ask questions throughout the Zoom group chat. I'm not checking out BB because it's not really working for me that well. Okay, so just so you know, I'm mostly doing the lectures on Zoom now. Yes, Neville, you have a question.
Yes, sir. So basically, we've created these tags, XML tags in our Visual Studio. But then do we then have to define exactly what they do? Because like in HTML, we know exactly what the tags do. We know what a H1 tag does, a P tag does. But in this case, like we've made a book tag, author tag. Do we then define what those tags will do? Or because
You create your own tags, Neville. This is the purpose of XML. The tags that you create is limitless. You name them, you create them, you structure the data. The purpose is to keep an organized way to store your books. So you create a root tag, which is like this, okay, a books, and inside you put a book. And each book has a number, each book has a title, each book has an author. So there is no limit what you can name to the tags themselves. You can name books, you can name people, you can name students, you can name whatever you want. You can name cars. The idea here is to create your own tag. You give the name to the tag and you keep the data organized. This is not used for let's say for display, because HTML has already had predefined tags. Here you create your own tags to store data. The idea here is, as I told you at the beginning, is to store the data, okay? Like database, you store the data in a file and you share it. If the information you're gonna store is not confidential information, files actually work faster than databases. So you can store data and share it with others. That is the purpose of XML, okay? Did you understand?
Display, that's the confusion I'm having.
I don't understand you because your voice goes and comes back. So if
Sorry, I think I have network issues. I was saying my confusion is because, well, I was using XML files in Android Studio. They were basically used to create views, which the user can see, like a text view,
okay.
a button.
In Android Studio, the XML format is already defined for you.
Oh,
basically,
okay.
when you drag and drop components, they are automatically created at the back.
Okay.
But that is not the main purpose of XML. Google just invented a way to basically parse the XML in a virtual machine and display you a user interface. But if you actually copy paste those calls elsewhere and try to run it in a browser, it won't give you the same result. It is just a functionality of Android Studio, okay?
Okay, I've understood you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes, Sophie. You can talk.
Sir, for the saving, I do not understand what we are doing with the dots and the slashes. That's how many do you, how do you know how many to put, like for the direction?
Each tag that I open must be closed. This is the only rule that you have to follow. So as I
Not the
open this
tag,
tag,
for the saving.
oh, this one, the location.
Yes, sir.
It basically stores everything inside the bin. So if you do not put any dots here, it actually goes to the location and saves it to the bin folder. So if you go there to the file explorer and go to the bin and debug, this is where it is creating the exe file. If I don't put the dots, this is where I should be seeing the file created. So I'm just going to remove this. And run the application. Your file is successfully created. When I go there, I see that the file is under Visual Programming bin debug. So if I go back once, go back twice, go back a third time, I go to the project directory where I wanted to reach. Okay, so originally it was created under bin under debug. This is where your executable version is created, as you can see. So if I go back once, back twice, back a third time, it creates the file there. This is why I put 3. Okay, so I put 3 different marks in there just to be sure that it will be created inside the project folder. So that is why I put 3 different dots, 1 back, 2 back, and the third back. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Any other question? I already explained the midterm. Okay, there is no midterm. There will be exams when we return back to the university. We don't know when we're gonna go back to the university now. When we know, we will announce it to you. No one knows when this is gonna end, so we don't know. Okay, when the actual governments and authorities tell us that now it's safe, we can go back to our works, we will go back, gentlemen. Okay. Until then, you will have projects. Next week, I will announce you a new project in the lecture time. I will not do a lecture actually. I will just announce the lecture, the project itself, and you will have to work on projects mostly. Majority of your evaluation will come from projects. I am thinking about 55 to 60% to be based on projects in this course, and the rest will be exam when we return back to the university. As I told you many times over, we do not know when we're going to go back. No one knows in the world, all right? This is not only true for Cyprus. Everywhere in the world, people stop going to work, going to university. So you're not the only person suffering from this. Everybody is suffering. When we know from the authorities, the condition, when it is safe, from the world experts, they will announce it, okay? That it's safe now to go back, we will go back, and then we'll have the exams. Right now, we don't know anything, so I cannot give you more information, all right? And stop believing gossips and conspiracy theories, please, okay? I announce every week that when I learn about the exams, I will announce it to you. So don't create gossips like, oh, we have an exam in May, or we have an exam at the end of this month. Do not create these gossips. If you have an exam, this will be announced to you on Moodle, so you will know in advance. We announce everything on Moodle, so just follow the Moodle, all right? Any other questions? I'm going to show you now how you can get this data. So if you go back to the actual form, I'm going to create another button. And this one, I'm going to say read XML file. And I'm going to say something like button show XML. So whenever we go to this file now, what I want to do is to read the file content. And if the file really exists, we need to show it. So I'm gonna use a similar style as I used in there. So I'm gonna use the similar style. This is a lot of code repetition and I hate code repetition, but I'm just gonna do it this way for this time. In a real application, you should do a validation in a separate function, just as you did in the project. So your file name, you get it. And we need to check if this file name actually relies on that specific location. We learned about checking the files in a previous lecture. You know how to check if the file exists. So you can deliver a message here, should you want to. So we're gonna check whether or not this file exists. So I'm gonna put the file name here with a path name. So I'm gonna put the path name. And the path name will be exactly the same as in here. Plus XML. Now that I have the path name, I can check this. If the path name does not exist, we're gonna show a message as well. We're gonna show whether or not if this doesn't work, we're gonna show it with a message board. This file does not exist. And only else, when it is else, the file name will actually work. This is where we're gonna show it. Show the file name. So let's check it out. So basically what I do here is more or less the same at first. I get the file name. I put it into an XML. I read the file. If it is less than 1, please enter the file name. Enter the file name you want to read, you want to display. This file does not exist. Check your file name. And we're going to show it. Let's see. Oops, we have an error of brackets. So this one is there, that one is here. We are having a bracket error, I think. Yes. So save all, try to run it again. Yes, now it runs. So I already have a file name. Let me just type my name here and try to read. It says this file does not exist. Check your file name. If I don't type anything, it will say, please enter the file name you want to display. Now in the location, I know the file name is my books. So I'm going to type my books. And it doesn't show me anything because I haven't typed anything yet. So what I'm going to show here is the file content. How do I show it? It's fairly similar to what we have done, but this time we're going to use something else. We're going to use what we call that as Xelement, and it is part of what we define as link. Link is a framework in Visual Studio which allows you to basically store and manipulate persistency of data. You can use link with basically any persistency. It doesn't have to be XML files. You can use it with JSON. You can use it with databases. You can use it with anything. It is a specific framework developed by Microsoft, and it allows you to use specific commands to manipulate the data itself. It's called language integrated query. I simply say link to it. and its general purpose query capability is built in Visual Studio and supported by .NET Framework. What it does is it enables programmers to work both in memory and also external data. It has something called Xelement. Using the system link, you can use Xelement basically to read and manipulate data very easily. So it's just like a command called Xelement and a variety of other commands. You combine them, and using that, you can load an entire file into an Xelement and display its features. So let's do this. We're gonna use Xelement. For Xelement to run, not XML element, it should be Xelement. And for Xelement to run, you should put link import. As you can, if you press on Alt Enter, you will see using system XML link, and it should put it there. And once you have used this, you can now define your box. You can say books equals to X element load. And now that you have the path, you can simply give that path. You can put the path name here and read the path name automatically. Since the path name is now valid, you can use it. All you have to do is you can use the message box dot show and books to string. So by doing so, you load the entire file into Xelement and show it. So if you want to run this thing now, we can run it. I type nothing in there. It doesn't read the file. I type my name. It doesn't read the file. Whenever I type my books, which is the file name that I saved previously, I'm going to press on read file, and now it reads the file. You can see now that the file is read. So you can create files, and you can also read files. That is two functionalities that you can perform with XML. And as I told you many times, if you go to the directory, you will see the file there. You can open it, edit it, and the file content is there. Did you understand how this works? Is it clear? There are 30 participants here. No one is responding to me.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. You can also show certain components inside a file, should you want to. You are not only limited to showing only one portion of, you are not only limited to showing the entire file, you can also show a portion of it. For example, if you want to display only the authors or only the book names, you can also do so. All you have to do is to write a for each loop. For each loop is something we discussed before. It is particularly used for strings and object data, where you just need to read the data one by one. Each note it refers to what you write inside the file itself. So every single information that you write inside the tags, such as Fellowship of the Ring, J.R.R. Tolkien, Game of Thrones, G.R.R. Martin, these are called notes because they contain information about that specific tag, such as author, title, number. So you can iterate nodes one by one in certain tags to find that data and display it on the screen. we can say something like variable node in certain elements, such as books dot elements, and we can define book here for each book, and I want to display the element in each book. So I'm going to put elements here and put, let's say, title, each title of the book. So I want to focus on only showing the title of each book. So I'm going to say variable node in books elements book, which refers to each book, element title, which refers to every single title under the books. So now that I have done this, I can put brackets, and within those brackets, I can show every single book title. Message box dot show. So we can now show book title and then add the node. This should be open close bracket, I think. Yes. So let's see what it does. Running the application now. I'm gonna take this. So read the book. It was my books. Read. I read the entire document, and now it shows me the book title. Fellowship of the Ring. You can see the book title, Fellowship of the Ring, and also Game of Thrones. So it shows only the title of the book now and nothing else. So if you want to achieve to a specific information inside your document, such as author or number or whatsoever, you can do so by reaching the nodes. You can say that each node that I have, each tag and the information in it is referred as a node. So I want to show the title as well as the node itself. So that's how you can do it. Any questions so far? Everything is perfectly clear. I can close this and continue with my live. Since you understood everything, I don't need to actually upload this information anywhere, I guess. Since everything is perfectly clear, you understood it. So I'm not going to upload this session. Very good. Yes, go ahead and talk.
So it means if we want to make the authors to show that's the author's name in these dot elements, that's title, we just have to change the titles to author.
Yes, that's it. That's all you have to do.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Yeah. Is there any way we can show the titles all together instead of showing one and the next one?
I didn't get your question.
The question is, when the one you did now, you can only show one title at a time. So I'm asking if there's a way we can show all of them together. I mean, at once.
Yes,
Combine.
you can do that. Yes. All you have to do is you can define a string value. You can say something like string all titles. And initially, I'm just going to set it to empty. Like this. Yes, empty. So each time it goes there inside the titles, you can say all titles plus equals to the node to string. And you can also leave a \n should you want to. So I'm going to put a \n plus the node itself. And just outside the for each loop, I'm gonna put a message box, show, and display all titles. So I keep adding to all titles instead of showing them. I keep adding to all titles and I show it separately. So you can now say all titles in here, all titles, and put a \n and add all titles. So I'm gonna run this thing. So we can say my books. It shows the entire XML. It shows the entire titles. So Fellowship of the Ring, Game of Thrones, they are all listed here. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to upload this because you're not asking questions, gentlemen. So if you are really curious about it, ask it now. There's no guarantee that I will upload this. Yes, Neville?
Assume you create another XML file with the same name, my books. What will happen then?
I can barely hear you. So can you please talk slowly?
I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
If you create another XML file using the same name, my books, what will happen then?
It will override it.
It will overwrite everything from the start. If you
Yes.
make any changes now, it will overwrite it. Can
Exactly.
you have a workaround with that, like with an error saying like preventing this from happening?
Generate you can find a file and ask it, do you want to overwrite this file, kind of thing. So if you want to look for the file itself before you create it, you can ask something like, oh, a file found at this name, would you like to overwrite it? You can do that if you want, but technically, if you don't get those precautions, it will overwrite the file. Okay, so you can do something like this. So you can put an else if statement, and should the file already exist there, you can basically say something like, let's do it, else if, and I'm going to create the path name here as well. So if the file already exists, you can say something like this file already exists. Would you like to you can ask this as a warning should you want to, and instead of message box okay, you can put yes and no questions and put a dialog message and warn the user whether or not they want to overwrite the file. So now that you have the file name, it will check whether this file exists or not. If it finds the file, it will say something like this file already exists. Would you like to override it? So let's run this thing to see how this is going to run. So I'm going to type my books here, create file, and as you can see, it says this file already exists. Would you like to overwrite it? And if you say yes, it might overwrite the file. If you say no, you go ahead and change its name. So that's how you can achieve something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the only way that you are asking me questions is basically me threatening you that I won't upload this. I see.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
So if I'm to go to the bin folder and edit the file that I originally created, and I come back to run the program, will it still display without giving me an error?
Yes, it will. So if you go back there and change the file name, instead of my books, you say, let's say books. Okay, and you run the file. I'm going to type my books here. And try to read the file. It will say this file does not exist. Check your file name, because we changed the file name. Now, if I make it books, it will read the file. So any change you do outside, is automatically recognized by the program. Okay, it will automatically recognize. So even if I do a change again in here, let's say I change my file name to Kane, and now I save this file as Kane, I go try to read it, it doesn't understand it. But when I change it to my name, it will read the file now. So any change you do outside the program is automatically reflected. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I have almost same question, but you will need to tamper with the things inside. I mean, the books.
Yes, what about the books?
So what if in the edit part, whilst opening the book from the file, in the edit part, what if you add a new book on it? Because right now it's just 2 books. So what if you add new one in the edit part, not in the program?
If you want to add more books to the existing books, you need to add a specific way. You need to find basically, there's another functionality called add, which you can add more books into your table. But if you want to create another file, basically you have to give it another name. Otherwise, it won't be another file. Okay? So I'm not quite sure what you refer to exactly, but if you want to create another file in the same directory, it has to have another name.
No, I mean, like the name. I'm not talking about the name. I'm talking about the books, the book inside, like number 2. So what if I want to add number
about 3? The notes, like this ones?
Yeah, what if I want to add number 3 in it?
Yes, you can do so, and it is done in the videos. I'm gonna show.
I mean, can I do it manually?
You can do it manually, gentlemen. You just need to create a form. Part of the assignment that I'm gonna give you actually next week depends on that. So your next assignment is basically manipulating this file. Right now, I'm gonna show you how you can do it in here, but I'm gonna give you an assignment next week that you have to do that. Okay?
Yeah.
So that is part of the research, part of the next assignment that you gotta do.
I already in the videos, but I was just wondering maybe is a way you can do it manually.
Yes, watch the videos, and I show how to add new books there. I showed it to you how you can add new books. There's also a way that you can get data from the forms and you can add it to the books. So yes, there is a way to do it, and I know the way, and I can show it to you right now, but I don't want to because I will give it to you as an assignment.
Right, sir.
Okay? There's absolutely a way, and I can do it under 5 minutes if I want to, but I want to give it to you as an assignment. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, I'm gonna end up today's session very soon because it's been over 40 minutes now, 80 minutes now that I'm doing the lectures. Next week, I'm gonna continue. Please watch the videos. I did in the videos, adding, deleting, and also updating as well. So if you go to the videos sections, you will see that I did all 3. So just go to lecture videos. In the part 3, I think I did the update. In part 2, I think I did delete and add, and also in part 1 I show you how to show and create, just as we did right now. So all of those are actually done in the videos. So if you are curious about how to add data, how to delete data, how to update it, please watch these videos. It shows there step by step how you can achieve this. All right, next week I'm gonna do more exercises on XML files, and I will also show you JSON. After JSON, we have list view. Based on my notes, I have list view and some other functionalities such as date time picker and some other stuff. So I have roughly like 3-4 more chapters maximum, and then I'll be done with the lecture, and you will mostly work on your projects now. Before I end my lecture for today, do you have any questions? I am recording these sessions. I'm gonna upload it, so don't worry. I know you freak out when I say I'm not gonna upload it. Right, since you don't have any questions, I'm gonna end up the session today. Next week, we're gonna meet again for another 80 to 90 minute session. Every week on Tuesdays, we run almost 80 to 90 minute sessions, okay? From 11:30 to 1. And but these are not the only times that you can communicate to me. You can also send emails. You can post under the videos. If you have any questions, you can post a question under the videos, and I will get back to you as well on YouTube. All right, so there are multiple ways that you can reach me. You can post comments under YouTube videos, and I will answer that. You can also send me emails. But officially, I run the lectures on Tuesday now. All right, guys? Please watch the videos, keep yourself updated, and next week, I'm gonna introduce you your next assignment. Thank you for coming today, and I'll see you guys next week. I will upload this session on the past classes section, so you can watch past online classes on YouTube as well. So you will find these videos being uploaded there. All right. Okay, have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye.